Okay, welcome everyone to another episode of Dark Avenger Live. We're coming at you from the streets of Brooklyn. How is everybody doing tonight? Man, my microphone is right in frame. There we go. Now it's not as badly in frame. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. Sorry we didn't have a live show last week. Last weekend was absolutely insane. Things are better this week. So here we are doing another Dark Avenger live. We got a lot of things to talk about. A lot of things that have gone on in the past week. Lots of number ones, lots of AEW news. We have some really awesome stuff that came out of New York Comic Con. Interesting gaming news. I will say interesting gaming news. But we're going to start this episode off with a couple of things that you all can see. I'm doing Dark Avenger Live solo, as most of you might know, and this is going to be brief. Mike has moved, so I will be doing most shows solo from this point onward. So we're going to work on an idea with Mario Maker and myself, and I played Mario Maker. It's not a problem. So anyone who was excited about the gameplay, as a post live or after we did our talking for a while, I'm still going to work on that. It's just going to need, I'm one person now, so I've got to do everything on my own for now. So we'll see where Mario Maker fits into everything. But we're going to start with the topic. The Elite show is called Dear Kenny, and I actually made a video on my channel, my main channel today, called Dear Kenny, and we're going to do Dear Kenny, and then we're going to jump right into Kickstarter. So there's two important things that are going on right now. So Dear Kenny, as you all know, I used to do wrestling skits on YouTube. As a matter of fact, when I started on YouTube on Brooklyn Boys, most of our videos were New Age DX. That's what we called ourselves, Mike and I. And we did backstage shenanigans, after match shenanigans. We did all the talking parts. Unfortunately, we couldn't do any of the wrestling stuff. I was interested in buying a ring for the backyard at the time, and currently still. I'm not allowed to build a wrestling ring in the backyard. And with the seasons and the snow and everything, I don't think that's the best idea. And taking it down and putting it back up every year by myself does not sound like fun either. So we never did any wrestling. It was all like the backstage chatter, all the back and forth. We had our uncle as the Miz once, so we had a good time. And as you all know, I did 123 podcast with Bram for a while, but my interest in wrestling with WWE just died. It died. I tried to get back into it when we did 123, and Brant and I were into it for a while, and then things just went right back to the predictable. I mean, I've heard enough little like moments from Hell in the Cell that just happened this Sunday and SmackDown that just happened this Friday that I'm not upset I'm not watching WWE anymore. Not at all. But AEW started this week. It started this past Wednesday, and I watched it from beginning to end, and I loved every moment of it. It brought every single emotion I ever felt for wrestling back again in an instant. The matches were great. The characters and wrestlers were allowed to be who they are without having, I guess it's unscripted, they say. So the wrestlers have the ability to kind of be themselves. Like Chris Jericho has said multiple times at New York Comic Con, and in general, nobody could write Chris Jericho as well as Chris Jericho. And I definitely agree with that. And it definitely shows when it comes to AEW's first show. I'm sorry if it's loud in the back. There are people in the kitchen at the moment, so it's a little louder than usual. So I had a lot of dreams growing up, and that was my phone that I forgot to mute. Sorry about that. I had a lot of dreams growing up, and I've had the privilege of trying a lot of those dreams. A lot of them I was successful in, and a lot of them I was not. I always wanted, for example, to be a person who made videos and entertained people. Here I am. Am I the most successful YouTuber out there? Not even close. I wanted to be a part of comic book and video game media. Working on the video games as we speak, I'm a part of the comic book media. That's one thing. I always wanted to find a way to share my work and become a writer. Doing that right now. We're going to talk about the Kickstarter literally right after I talk about this. One dream I've had since I was a kid that I didn't pursue because I didn't want to wrestle in WWE. I really didn't. Trying out wrestling, really giving professional wrestling a shot. And as much as I know I'm still going to be doing those skits on the main channel and I'm going to have a good time with them regardless, Kenny Omega actually trained himself. And I mean, that's what I've heard. And I've watched a lot of his New Japan matches, you know, pre AEW's launch on TNT. And I watched his character development. I watched the Young Bucks character development, their careers development, and also the Be the Elite channel. I watched. There's over 180. They're close to 200 episodes. I would like to say I've watched a little over half. Maybe a well amount over half, and it's just amazing how side by side you could take things I do or things I did with Michael, and you could compare it with the Young Bucks with their YouTube channel. You know, Mike and I always like to vlog and do funny skits and make people laugh. The Young Bucks are doing that in the sense of pre-AEW. They were doing skits and funny segments with other wrestlers. Now there's AEW. You know, the last episode, which came up today, was pre and post Dynamite this past Wednesday, and it's entertaining, and it's weird for me because it's so alike from what Mike and I used to do. And so I said to myself, you know what? I know most likely it's never going to happen. So since it's never going to happen, let me throw out the biggest request I've ever made in my life. So I sat down and I made an 8-minute long video reaching out to Kenny Omega to train me. Do I think Kenny Omega is going to answer me? Yes and no. I think no, because he's at the height of his career, vice president of AEW, and he's got a lot going on. The one thing he's not going to want to do is take somebody who A, has to go to the gym, B, has to learn everything from the beginning of wrestling, take him under his wing, deal with that, deal with AEW and everything else. I don't see it happening. I could be wrong. B is I have no ring experience. As you all know me, you know I can't do New Japan. I can't do, you know, outside of the United States for multiple reasons of my life right now. So I'm restricted to the United States of America at the very least. But I figure if it's going to happen, if I'm ever going to live out my dream, I'm going to put faith to the wind and see. I mean, if Kenny Omega writes me back and says, yeah, man, I'll train you, I couldn't say no to that. Couldn't. Because the only place I'd want to wrestle right now is AEW anyway. Just saying. So that's the title. That's what the video was about. I think Kenny Omega is an awesome rising star. I'm glad that AEW is in America. I'm glad that everyone can see Kenny Omega, the Young Bucks, Cody Rhodes the way he should be, not like Stardust. I don't blame him for leaving WWE for that. And a bunch of other really awesome wrestlers. Hangman, Pac is back. That's Neville from WWE. There's just so much talent. Sammy Guevara, who also does YouTube videos. He documented his whole life, you know, from wanting to be a wrestler to indie wrestling to finally making it to AEW as well. I follow both. I follow him and being the elite. So anyway, threw caution to the wind. Am I going to get a response back? 90% no. 10% maybe some type of a like, we'll see. I'm giving it like that 0.5 that he's going to say yes and he's going to train me and I'm going to be on AEW. But you know what? Again, while I know that possibilities are very slim for a yes or anything of that caliber, I am working on some wrestling skits for my channel. I had to redo them because a lot of the work I was doing was tag team, because you guys know Mike and I do videos together. Now that Michael's not here, I had to reformat it again for singles. So that's what I'm currently doing. I'm currently working on a few singles idea. I'm hopefully going to be working on something with Brant at some point. So we'll see where that goes. I'm looking to bring other people in. There might be one or two other people that I bring in as I move forward with these skits. I have a couple of ideas already. I might actually have viewers also brought in on the skit ideas, but I'm excited about that. But that's more, I want to say November, because we are super focused this month on Kickstarter. So that's what we're going to move over to. Kickstarter, Celestial Falcon, issue number 1's deluxe edition. We are, I'm on the wrong one. I'm sorry, but the DA is going to disappear for, DA is going to disappear for a moment. Celestial Falcon, issue number 1. We are clawing our way. I'm sorry, it cuts in and cuts out. We are fighting our way. We are beyond halfway now. We're beyond 50%. That happened today. That happened. I mean, I couldn't go live. I'm live right now. But we are fighting to get that other 50%. We went from 50% funded to over 50% funded. Now we're working our way towards 60%. We're getting pretty close to 60%, which I'm excited about. But again, it's a slow struggle. It was a hard September for multiple reasons, and now we are in the last day and a couple of hours, so we're really trying to push to get this Kickstarter funded. If not, there are other plans, and you'll have to stay tuned after tomorrow to hear those plans, but we do have other plans in mind. We still want to bring it to you regardless, and we'll figure out a way to get it to work. But the deluxe edition, I'm very, very passionate about. I believe that it is a very important issue, because there's a lot more in this book, and we're going into issue number 2 next year. So the importance of making sure everybody's had a chance to read issue 1, whether it be just issue 1 or the deluxe edition of issue number 1, is super, super important. This way, when issue 2 comes out, nobody's going to be like, gee, when did issue 1 come out? I'm going to have to reread that. No, you will have already read it. With this Kickstarter, we'll have issue 1 out before issue 2 gets into everybody else's hands, and it'll, at least you won't have such a long gap between issue number 1 and 2. And then we're hard at work with issue 3, same with 4, and then we're going to see if it's going to be a 5 issue or not. But if it is, it is, and we'll work on 5. We're working tirelessly. Brant worked many hours today. Brant's been working a lot on a lot of different things. The Kickstarter I'm talking about, he's working on Comic Frontline. We've got all Frontline built up. The website looks amazing. So there's a lot going on. It's a very awesome time. It's really awesome times all around. I'm very happy with how Frontline is going now. We had 2 premiere shows last week. We had Comic Book Weekly, which is Frontline Live presents Comic Book Weekly. It's the new Frontline Live. It's not the new Frontline Live. New show, new format, same time as Frontline Live. Frontline Live now archived as an old show. And I promise you all, is it good to promise that? I'm hoping to promise all of you that we won't be renumbering the show or title again, because we've gone through many. This hopefully will be the last of that, and we'll be moving forward. Love to hit that number 300 official. So hopefully we will this time. We were close with Frontline Live, but this time around, I think we're going to do it with Comic Book Weekly. And then after that, I was just talking about AEW. Brant and I have started a new show called AEW Aftermath, and that is Brant and I getting together every single week on a Friday. Well, we get together earlier. The video goes live on Friday, and we talk about AEW Dynamite. We talk about AEW Dark is something new that's coming out now, where matches that aren't on TNT are going to be put on AEW Dark, which I believe is on YouTube. So our show is going to be focusing on talking about AEW Dynamite, AEW Dark, the AEW universe, our thoughts on wrestlers, character developments, everything. And I think we had a great first episode. Again, we're going to be getting our footing for these new shows. So Comic Book Weekly, it went really, really well. Again, we're going to be evolving and moving forward with the new format we have. AEW Aftershock was truly and honestly a surprise idea for both Brant and I. I know that Brant was talking about wanting to do an AEW show or to talk about AEW when it came out for a while. I was on the fence because I wasn't sure how AEW would be for me. And the good news was AEW was spectacular, and I loved it. And we moved on, and we are now part of the elite. I'm only watching AEW. I don't watch WWE. I haven't watched WWE in almost a year. I'm trying to remember the last time I watched a WWE event. It's been at least almost a year. It has to be at least almost a year. So AEW, and that's what we're doing. We're doing AEW Aftershock. We're not affiliated with AEW yet. I mean, if they'd like to associate with Brant and I, and back up AEW Aftershock, I have no problem doing that at all. I'm more than happy to work with AEW. But this is going to be a show that we're going to definitely try our hardest to keep up with every week and talk AEW. Other than that, I really, I have to remember my books this week now because I read early. I really have to go back and read a lot. Deceased and Contagion are definitely two books I recommend checking out this week. Deceased was the ending of Deceased issue 5 was definitely worth the book itself. And then Contagion issue number 1 surprised me. I didn't get that book physically. I'm reading it digitally. But the first issue surprised me. It's a weekly. The reason why I didn't get it was because it's 5 issues, 5 parts, 5 issues, 5 weeks in a row. And we just got through X-Men, which was every other week. And I'm like, now Marvel's really trying to throw out these series that are either every other week or every week. And I don't want to it's a lot. It's a lot at once sometimes. So yeah. So I read the first issue. I liked it. I really did like it a lot. So I would definitely recommend checking out Contagion. I like the artwork. The story is definitely intriguing. Issue 2, which is this Wednesday, we'll see if I get more, if I am more interested in it. We'll see. By the middle, I'll know if I want to start picking this up physically. I mean, they have connecting covers, everything. By the way, I am starting this live show. I did start this live show at 9:30. Usually this is supposed to be 9. I might start this live show starting next week. I might move the time to 10 o'clock. Stay tuned for that. Again, with Raw on right now, I know a lot of people right now are probably watching Raw, the ending hours of Raw, or the most important parts of Raw now. So again, 10 o'clock is a little bit better also all around. Even Frontline, I've got to get used to this. Comic Book Weekly starts at 10 o'clock at night. I just think it's a better time to start. There's no need for me to be on here as early. I do know my D&Ds on the Mocha Wizards Twitch channel. We have one that's going to be happening this week on Saturday. It's going to be at 12 or 12:30 noon, 12 noon or 12:30. And then I'm also part of another one that's around 8:30, 9 o'clock p.m. That was supposed to be this week. It was my fault. I was very, very late. I had a lot of stuff I was doing, unfortunately, and I hated it, but it's my fault that we didn't get to do it. I take full responsibility for that. Oh, James is here. I'd rather be watching this than Raw, honestly. What's up, James? I don't want to know what's happening on Raw. I just know my dad's watching it because I hear it in the background. But thanks for popping in, man. James and I actually did some sailing last night, and unfortunately, we ended on a very low note because I was dead. I was ready to fall asleep. Full disclosure, James. The moment I shut down Xbox, I sat on my bed. I was out like a light. So I was not in any shape to fight 3-on-2, and James also is brand new to Sea of Thieves, so a little bit of a handicap. No offense, James, but it's a little bit of a handicap when you don't know the mechanics to fighting, and yeah, so it really would be more like 1.5 versus 3. So in the end, we decided to call it. They only got 2 skulls anyway. Good for them, or 3 skulls. I don't even remember what was on our boat, to be honest. But yeah, so I loved Contagion this week. I thought it was really good. I'm trying to look at what else. I didn't read Spider-Verse yet. Batman TMNT 3 was amazing this week. I truly enjoyed the conclusion. I'm really hoping we get another volume. You definitely will be seeing that on Frontline. Oh God, this is going to take a couple of weeks on Comic Book Weekly tomorrow when we talk about our top fives. Definitely a really enjoyable book. I loved it from issue 1 all the way through. Trust me, I passed out about 20 minutes after I turned it off too. It was fun though. Oh yeah, it's fun. It's definitely fun. It's just when you get those moments where you got to fight, it's sometimes you'll get annoyed. I'm not going to lie. You will probably get annoyed at some point at the game just because it's like, I don't want to fight, but I got to fight. And then they sunk me and I had treasure. It's just one of those things with that game, but it's okay. It's okay. Sea of Thieves is just a freaking enjoyable game. I still am going to be starting Ghost Recon very soon, along with Code Vein and every other freaking game I've mentioned, even though all I'm doing is Sea of Thieves. I might actually try some Ghost Recon tonight. I'm not sure. I'm trying to get my footings on a lot of things, and a lot of things have been crazy this past September. I'm so glad we're out of September. So many bad things happened this past September. It was one stress after another stress after another stress after another one. And I don't want to get into a lot of it because some of it, while it is personal, the rest of it's just, again, it's not worth talking about. It's not worth giving anybody any credit anywhere. And it's multiple people. It's not just one person. So that's really a lot of what's going on. This show, again, we'll be going back to, we're just doing it every Monday. We're going to be moving it to 10 o'clock. Like I said, I want to be able to interact with all of you. That's what Dark Avenger Live is all about. It's not just about me sitting here just talking for an hour and that's it. The whole point of Dark Avenger Live is interacting with everyone who shows up. Now, again, I didn't do a Dark Avenger Live last week. That's my fault. Consistency is key, as always. And everybody tells me that, and I tell everybody else that as well. If you're gonna want to have an audience, a dedicated audience, you got to be consistent, or else nobody's gonna know if you're gonna be live or not, and they're just gonna go do something else. So. And also, I have like a lot of freaking noise in my background. That's crazy tonight for some reason. I don't know why, but really, that's about everything that I wanted to talk about. There was another Legion of Superheroes I'm not bothering with. Young Justice was okay this week. There were either the books were really good or really bad. Very few were middle ground for me this week. I will say that. And I had 24 books this week to read. 24 books. AEW started. New shows started. It was crazy. Again, I'm just glad to be gone with September and now just enjoying October so much more. And that's basically what I wanted to talk about. I am actually working on a couple of other channel ideas for the main channel. Again, I've been focusing on Dark Avenger now for the whole month of September. Obviously, we saw one series that didn't make it, the most anticipated, which it will be replaced. It is going to be replaced soonish, as well as the Spotlight hasn't started yet, and that's due largely to the fact of everything I just mentioned before, just crazy stuff going on around that. Just it prevents me from reading a lot until days like today, where I read, like, out of the 24 books I have, I think I read about 7 of them, and that's powering through most of what I had left. So again, it's just trying to get through all the stressors. I enjoy the live streams. I look forward to it every Monday. I enjoy the interactions. Oh, I appreciate that. I appreciate that a lot, James. I am going to be moving the show in a half hour later, though. So, like, right around now is when I'd have the starting soon pop up, and then I go live at 10 o'clock. That's why I'm trying to push to 10 o'clock, because I feel like a lot of people are going to start. We'll find out together, James, but I feel like a lot of people start funneling in around 10:15. If not, then it's just a shorter live show. Again, I do these live shows to interact with everybody here. I'll say whatever I want. I'll say my piece, which I basically finished most of my piece, and then I'll just end the show if there's nothing else to talk about. So I'm just trying to pull it a little bit longer to get us to that 10 o'clock mark at the very least. But there's a lot of planning going on right now on my end. There's a lot of campaigning for the deluxe edition of issue number 1 for Celestial Falcon. I realized I'm not going to compare my live show to Raw. But James, you weren't here at the beginning. I'll tell you this. I did make that video that I was telling you about last night, or that I was talking about on Twitch. It's actually on the main channel. And I've had multiple people share it towards Kenny Omega already. So that'll be funny if I get a response back from Kenny Omega. I swear that'll definitely be a huge plus to October. And again, I'm already expecting a no, but just getting a response back means he watched the video, which to me is just amazing in and of itself. I definitely have, when it comes to the wrestling, pro wrestler aspect, I definitely have mic skills. I definitely am innovative. I have the energy. I just don't have the ring knowledge. And I don't really, needs a little bit of work there. But I mean, other than that, and I can't do a flip to save my life. I'm sorry. If you ever see me in a ring, there are 2 things I can promise you I'll never do. Backflip, backflip, front flip. See, I have back and front at the same time in my head. Backflip, front flip, never going to happen. I cannot do a flip. All my life, I wanted to. When I was in karate and I weighed like 90 pounds, I tried. I cannot do a flip to save my life. I could not. And being on the top rope doing a backflip or a front flip, no. That's never going to happen with me. I'm more of a brawler type, so I would do everything but flips. I would fly over the ropes. I'll fly from the top ropes, leg drop, elbow drop, what do you call it, 5-star frog splash, whatever. But there is absolutely no way you'd see me Jeff Hardy, for example, doing the Swanton bomb or doing like a flip. There's too. I just don't know how to do it. I can't, and I guess my mind just won't allow me to, because I've tried to do flips for years and I just can't. I tried doing front flips just for years and I just can't do it. I don't know why. I guess my brain just shuts down when the word flip comes out. I watched it. I liked it because, if you do get a response, that would be so awesome. You're telling me. And I think Kenny Omega is just way too high up there to even respond, honestly. But we'll see what happens. We'll see if I get a response or not. So, sorry, I'm answering somebody on the side for a moment. But no, we'll see if I get a response. It would be awesome if I got a response. Like I said, I feel like I've learned a lot. I know Kenny Omega and the Bucks. Not like I know you guys. I know you. No, I feel like through their videos and through New Japan with Kenny Omega especially, I feel like I got to know them through their work, through their videos. Now, obviously, their videos, a lot of it is scripted or faked or skits or whatever. But I just truly feel like I got to know the Young Bucks through being the Elite, and I got to know Kenny Omega through his ring experience, through joining the Young Bucks and everything. So, what's going on, Tevia? What's up? So, welcome into the show, Tevia. See what I told you, James? I told you, around 10 o'clock. It's now 10 o'clock on the dot, and we got Tevia already in the live show. Told you. It for some reason, 9 o'clock to 10 o'clock, nobody's around. I guess the sweet spot is either 8 to 9 or 10 to 11. For some reason, I feel like that's the sweet spot to find people to pop on. So, going back to what I was saying, front flips, back flips, never going to happen. I feel like I really, that's the one thing I love about AEW too, is they're very personal. They have a YouTube channel. They make videos. There's almost 200 being the Elite episodes that they do once a week. Or some of them, I think, actually came out twice in 1 week. And that allows you to get to know not only the characters, but it allows you to get to know them a little bit, because half of it's real. Half of that stuff is definitely real. I'm sure a good amount of it's real, at least. But it's just, I enjoy it. It's a lot of fun. Oh, I think Superman will save. First of all, KOD Atlantics 23. Welcome to the live stream. I think Superman will save the day at the end of You're the Villain. After all, Apex Lex is still his nemesis. I agree. I don't know if Superman will do it or the whole Justice League will do it, but I do feel like obviously the heroes are going to win the day at the end of Heroes in, Year of the Villain. I feel like it's another event to stall the DC Universe moving forward. It's a year-long event, and it's, what are we, 6 months in now, and it's dragging already. I don't know. Not exactly the strongest thing in the world, but I am enjoying it. Justice League just takes a while to read because the dialogue is like that long. But I am enjoying the Year of the Villain. Not as much as I want. I mean, I would have liked it to be a little bit shorter, but I guess you can't call it the half year of the villains. You kind of got to go with the title Year of the Villains. But I'm sure they'll end it probably around April because I think that's when they started the whole prequel to Year of the Villain. So we'll see where that goes, the Year of the Villain. We'll have to just wait and see. Some number one. So apparently, oh God. Tevia, you and your rumors. Apparently, there's a rumor there's going to be a Superboy will replace his father and become Superman. Well, if Tevia, you might have gotten that rumor mixed up with Legion of Superheroes because I think that John is on Legion of Superheroes, so he's going to be Superman. But if they were, let's entertain that rumor. If they were to take Clark out of the Superman role and move his son up, and Superman and action were all about John, I think I'd be done. I think I'd be quite done. I mean, literally, John has been in our lives since when? When was Convergence? That was about 5 or 6, 7 years ago now. So he went from being a baby. Then we jumped back to the New 52, and it turned out Superman was there all that time, all 5 years he's been in hiding. So John went from being a baby to a child, and then from a child, he became a teen, and now he's almost a young adult. Convergence was 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Thank you, Tevia. 4 years. 4 years. We've gone from baby to teen to young child to teen, now to semi-adult, almost young adult. And John is growing up way too fast for my comfort. But I like John as Superboy. I would not go beyond that. If they're gonna go beyond that and make John Kent Superman, they're pushing too fast. And this is why New 52 happened. We had all the Justice League stepping down, and the Teen Titans became, or the Titans became the Justice League. Dick Grayson was Batman. Wonder Girl became Wonder Girl became Wonder Woman. Too much was being fast forwarded too fast, and they're doing that with John. And I feel like, what do you do to fix that? Is in DC's mind, you don't kill John, you reboot it. So you reboot Superman. Please, no, I'm good. I'm sick of the reboots. I'm sick of everybody aging up too fast, then aging back down, then aging up again, and then aging down. I hope it's a rumor, Tevia. I really do. I hope that they're talking about Legion of Superheroes. I like John as Superboy too, and it breaks my heart that John. I'm not going to say all that, Tevia. Superboy is getting pushed up for nonsense. Again, I think a lot of this comes from Brian Michael Bendis, who A, should not be on so many books, and B, should not be writing exclusively most of the Superman part of the universe. I don't agree with that. No other writer has exclusive rights to any other superhero. It's just Bendis. It's Superman. It's now Legion and Young Justice. It's too much for one writer to undertake, in my opinion, and it's also very... his take on a lot of these teams and characters is very different. And when he introduces somebody new, I just don't care. Teen Lantern's background or her origin was in this Young Justice book. I didn't care. I still don't like Teen Lantern. I could care less. Now you got Naomi joining Young Justice. See, now that makes more sense. Naomi joining Young Justice should have been the new character, not Teen Lantern. Are you reading Leviathan? Who do you think it is? Yeah, I heard they're changing Batman too. Yeah, they are. Well, one team is changing around. So we'll see where Batman goes. Leviathan, if I say I'm not reading it, I'm lying. But if I say I'm completely reading it, I'm lying too. I started to lose interest in Leviathan after issue number 2. So I'm reading it a bit slower than the other books. So who do I think Leviathan is? I think it's somebody that we're not going to expect. I think it's going to be somebody we thought was dead, or it's going to be one of the heroes. This is going to be one of those things like Heroes in Crisis again, where Wally, for example, now we have, I don't even want to talk about Flash Forward. I think that book I'm done physically with. The first issue kind of was a little bit and I have a feeling the second issue is going to be the same way, and I just don't have that kind of, I don't want to waste money on books that are just beating around the bush or going around in a circle. And then what's the goal for Flash Forward? Will Wally be a hero again? Will it turn out that Wally just had a breakdown and everybody's just going to forgive him and embrace him again? As far as Leviathan goes, it's a mini event within a major event, because Leviathan, believe it or not, is connected to You're the Villain. So it's a mini event in a big event. And the only ramifications that this will have on anyone is possibly Superman and possibly Batman. And there's still the rumor, Tevye, I'm surprised you didn't mention this rumor, unless you just did. Okay, no. Is that the rumors flying around that Superman is going to reveal his identity once again to the entire DC universe. I think especially because Brian Michael Bendis is fighting so hard about it, saying everybody's jumping to conclusions that everybody might be. I think if it does happen, maybe he's planning to undo it, like within whatever event this happens in, or he's planning to hold on to this for a couple of arcs and then somehow the world will forget Clark Kent is Superman again. I don't know. If he's not planning that, it's stupid. Again, I don't feel one writer should have the rights to an entire character, his family, and any book connected to said family. The one reason why I like Batman Superman right now is because it actually feels like a Batman Superman book, and Bendis has no control over it because it has its own story going on with the Batman Who Laughs, which is the only downside, is that it bounces off of DC Comics Metal, which everybody hated. So I'm hoping when we get past the Batman That Laughs and we continue forward with Batman Superman, we'll have some enjoyable stories that Bendis actually didn't involve himself in. But going back to Bendis, blows my mind. We have Connor Superboy right here, there. Why can't we have Connor Superboy be on the Legion? Connor was on Legion of Superheroes. Kara was on Legion. Superboy, Supergirl were both on Legion of Superheroes in that order. Connor was there first, and I'm talking about after Crisis, because Supergirl was also a part of the Legion of Superheroes pre-Crisis on Infinite Earths. Current day, Superboy Connor went and joined the Legion for a while during a event. And then Supergirl ended up joining for a while, fell in love with Brainiac 5. Then we had the New 52. Now, I don't know how much of that history is staying. I did see there was Supergirl on the cover for Millennium. I don't know if they're going to keep the whole fact that Connor joined the Legion of Superheroes or not. I don't know. I still don't know when Young Justice returns, if Superman's just going to remember Connor right off the bat, or if seeing Connor is going to have the same type of effect like when Rebirth happened and the two Supermen, New 52 and 52 and pre-New 52 combined. I don't know if we're going to have that same kind of effect again. I doubt it, because by now I would think Doomsday Clock's over, so Dr. Manhattan's gone. So I don't know. Maybe Superboy will come back and it'll just magically be like, okay, everything's fine. I remember everything. Or I don't know. Yeah, New 52 Superman was a complete and utter mess. The problem with that statement, Tevye, while I do agree with you, it was a mess, Bendis is not exactly doing a good job of post-New 52 Superman. So just as much a mess. So at this point, I really think that Dan Jurgens and Peter J. Tomasi were doing just a great job with Superman. They were going far. Action Comics 1000 hit, and then it just... And I don't understand how DC doesn't see this. Other than the fans of Brian Michael Bendis, the sales have definitely had to have plummeted for Superman by now. Enough so that DC should go, oh, wait, something's wrong. And they're not. And that has me a little worried for Superman and for DC in general, because again, if you look at the amount of books Brian Michael Bendis is writing, it's a lot of books. It's a lot of books. So again, although I am happy with the news that came out of New York Comic Con with Joe Hill, with the Joe Hill imprint that's coming. I'm looking forward to that from DC Comics. I'm looking forward to Hellblazer. I'm looking forward to a few other things. I'm going to talk more about that on Frontline. Few weeks, like I said, Comic Book Weekly. It's going to take a few weeks for me to get used to saying that, but for Comic Book Weekly, so I'm going to save my thoughts on most of the news. But I am looking forward to Joe Hill's, because I did get a book today with my haul. Which, by the way, I should be doing my monthly comic book haul, maybe tomorrow. I might record it tomorrow during the day, and it'll be up tomorrow night. Man is a mess. I'm not going to read all that, but yes, exactly. I'm not feeling Superman anymore. I'm not, and I said this, and I'll say it a million times over. 3 viewers, 5 viewers, 100 viewers when this live show is over. I don't care. If I drop Superman again, and whether it be because of Bendis or any reason, I'm done picking Superman up physically. At least I will be done getting physical copies of Superman. Whatever issue I say I'm done, that will be the last or second to last, because I pre-order my books a month in advance. It will be the last or the second to last Superman book I get physically, and then I'll be done, because Superman was the one book I said I'd never drop. I ended up dropping it during New 52. You all saw that. I mean, it literally happened. I started my comic book reviews. Episode 1 was pre-New 52, and then New 52 happened, and I dropped Superman for a couple of months, and then I ended up going back and buying every single book I didn't get, because I had hope that something was going to change, and I just couldn't drop it at that time. This time, I will have no problem dropping it and keeping it dropped. I will not go 4 months back in the past and pick up every book that I missed because I felt like I made a mistake. I feel like this time, if I do it, it's like the first time, okay, maybe that was my fault. Maybe it was on me, I just had to, live through the New 52, and I did. This time around, there's no excuse. If I drop it, it's because I don't like it and I don't want it. So that'll be the end. That'll be the end of Superman, and that is the only series I swore I'd never drop. So if I drop Superman, other than Turtles are a humongous exception to the rules. TMNT, I will never drop. I will buy it until the day that it ends. Other than TMNT, any book is up for dropping then. And I be honest with you all, I probably might go to a digital format. At that point, there is no point anymore for me to collect physical books, because Superman was the whole reason why I got into physically collecting comics. And I'm not putting this on Bendis. I'm not giving him, I'm not blaming him, and I'm not giving him credit, because some people take credit. Oh, I'm the reason why this person stopped collecting. No. Still going to read comic books. I'm still going to be a huge lover, and that's my enjoyment each and every week. It's just at the physical level, I think I'll be done. I think I'll just be done. I'll be worn out. And it sucks, because in a way it does change collecting for me, because then it goes from having a physical collection to having a digital collection. And I don't know how much I feel about that, especially when sites go down, when the internet goes down. Comixology does not work without internet. I don't know if it does now. I might be wrong. I think they might have had an offline. You could download the book on your Comixology so you can read it still. I'm not sure. I haven't really delved deep into it, but yeah, I mean, I hope I'm wrong. I hope Superman gets better. I hope that Bendis realizes it's time to move on. DC is in a lot of mess. They're like 24% of total gross, and we're 36 to 40% 3 to 5 years ago. Yeah, that's a huge drop from 40. I'm going to go from the highest, from 40 to 24. That literally is almost cutting their sales in half, and that's sad. So I'll never stop enjoying comics. I'll never stop reading comics. It's just the way I do it, the way I read it, the way I buy them will definitely change if I end up dropping Superman. Like I said, Turtles I'll always get physically, but The most impact it'll have on this channel is there won't be a monthly comic book haul anymore because I won't be getting physical books anymore. And the weekly comic read, you'll at least all know what I'm reading because I'll tell you all what I'm reading each and every week. So unfortunately, there won't be any physical piles. But in the end, I mean, what can I do? At least the good news is, I mean, there's a lot of awesome games coming out. There's a lot of awesome wrestling stuff coming out of the works with AEW. So there's always going to be something for all of us to enjoy. As a matter of fact, there were a couple of other number ones that came out this week that I want to throw out there. One of them was Vampire State Building. I didn't get that yet. Charlie Adlar does the art. I ordered the glow-in-the-dark cover that didn't get released on the week, which was last Wednesday. It gets released this week, so I'm getting the book this week, so I'm going to be reading it a week late. I'll still talk about it somewhere. I got to figure out a way to read it. Other number ones that I have to read or have read. 7 Days, number one, I definitely want to read that. Ruby Falls, number one, I definitely want to read that. And I read WWE SmackDown, number one. Was awesome. Dead Eyes, number one, was recommended to me by Cap. I still have to read that as well. There was one other book, Nomen. It started with an N. There we go. Nomen Omen, number one. Most of the books I just listed all came out of Image. So some books you might want to check out. I love issue number ones because you never know, especially when it comes to Image, which books you're going to enjoy. And Spawn 301 comes out this coming Wednesday. I'm super excited. If Todd McFarlane follows the formula like he did for issue 300 and continues forward, unlike what happened with 200 where he did something, it lasted for an issue or two, and then it changed all the way again. If he goes the same direction he's going with since issue 300, I'm going to be with Spawn again, and I'm very happy about that because I haven't been with Spawn. I read the first 100. I didn't stick around from 100 to 200. I read 200. I stuck around a little bit longer because Jim Downings left and Al came back. Then I left again because of the artwork and the story was just bleh. Now I'm back again for 300. Let's hope that the same. If history repeats itself, when they get to 400, I'm just going to get the 400th issue and just say the hell with it. Because I want to get all the hundreds. I have 100, I have 200, 300 now. 400 is definitely going to happen. You all know that Todd McFarlane is going to make Spawn's going to ride out for a long, long time. But I love Spawn. I will say that. That being said, I feel like with 10 minutes till 10:30, we've gone almost an hour. It says almost 50 minutes here. I'm going to start wrapping us up because it's been I've got a lot of reading to do before tomorrow night. I will once again plug the Kickstarter. Please, if you haven't backed the Kickstarter and you want to, do it because you only have another day. The Kickstarter is ending in about another day, about another 24 hours plus or minus an hour or two. So if you want to support Celestial Falcon issue number 1's deluxe edition, do it now. We do have a backup plan if things don't work out, but we want to get there. We're getting there slowly. I mean, people are starting to jump in. We're starting to build up steam again. We only need, we are past 50%, so we only need another 50%, less than 50% by now. So hopefully everybody will jump in, show some support for Celestial Falcon issue number 1. We'll get you all the books. New shows, like I said, Comic Book Weekly episode 2 happens tomorrow night at 10 p.m. Eastern. And then on Friday, AEW Aftershock happens, and that's episode number 2, where Brent and I will be covering all the stuff that came out of AEW Dynamite this coming Wednesday, as well as AEW Dark. If Brent gets a chance to watch it, I'm more than likely going to watch it because I'm on YouTube a lot. So YouTube is a lot easier for me to watch stuff. So AEW Dark is like right up my alley. And stream-wise, I'm going to try to do some Ghost Recon and then just work my way backwards into all the other games that I have, like Borderlands Rage and Code Vein, which Code Vein is still pretty new. So I might do that. And Alan told me, I know Alan's probably here lurking. If not, he'll probably be watching this post live. Alan did mention to me there's going to be an update with Division 2. Might get into Division 2. So maybe some more Sea of Thieves with my friend James. I'm helping him get to Pirate Legend. We played a little bit last night. We went way too late. I ended up crashing the moment we finished streaming. So we'll see. But there's a lot of stuff in the works. Look forward to the wrestling skits if you can. The Kenny Omega video, I have it all over social media. I have a few friends that have shared it everywhere, and I mean everywhere, places that I didn't even think to share it. I had one friend DM Kenny Omega, the video. So I hope he doesn't get so spammed with it that he ignores it, but I'm not looking for a response. Honestly, I don't think he will. And if he does, I don't think it'll be positive. And if he does, shit, I'll be the happiest kid in the world. Well, I'll be happiest guy in the world. I'm not a kid anymore. Compared to a lot of other wrestlers in their ages, I'm a kid still, but I'll be the happiest person in the world if I got a response and it was in the positive. Wonder Woman is going to be, I don't know. I have no clue, Tevye. I don't read Wonder Woman. I couldn't tell you even if I wanted to. So with that being said, as always, don't forget to check out all the social media links in the description below. ShootingStarUniverse.com. ComicFrontline.com got a humongous upgrade. Go check out ComicFrontline.com if you haven't. And until next week, I guess everyone take care. Keep reading, keep collecting, and I will see all of you really soon in all the videos I just mentioned, but even more importantly, in the next video. Take care, everybody.